Well, good morning, and how is everybody this wonderful Friday? It's a beautiful day here in the sunny town of Regina, and it's time for this week's shout-outs and groaner of the week. And the first person I want to shout out is Jay's World. That's Jay-S World. And I want to shout her out right at the beginning because she was very kind to send me instructions as how to put links to other channels on my YouTube. So hopefully, if I am understanding her directions correctly, in the description portion of the video today, you should find links to the 4 channels I'm shouting out, the first of which is, of course, Jay's World. Jay is a fellow Canadian, lives in the greater Toronto area, I believe. I'm not going to swear to that, but she does a wonderful sort of channel vlog on her life and just different things that happened to her. One was quite good. It was about getting stuck in a pothole. But to check out Jay's World. Our next shout out goes to Adam Outdoors. So Adam, A-D-A-M, space Outdoors. Great channel, camping, bushcraft, fishing, you name it. If it has to do with the outdoors, Adam does it, and a really enjoyable channel to watch, so I suggest you check out Adam Outdoors. Next is Durrington Dave. Dave does what I would call archaeological metal detecting. He does more than that. He goes out metal detecting on permissions. The last few he's had have been on permissions he's had on an estate with a mansion, and just turning up some really interesting finds. So recommend you check out Durrington Dave. And normally I only do 4 shout-outs, but I'm going to do 5 today because Durrington Dave quite often works with and alongside Historical Magpie. And so Historical Magpie, he also does metal detecting and that sort of thing. They're both based out in England, and wonderful chaps. You should check out their channels. You'll quite enjoy them. And last but not least, another fellow Canadian up in the Edmonton area is Bruce space L. Bruce L, just the letter L. And Bruce does things on cars, tools, guitars, kind of an assortment, but anything that his quite gifted mechanical and repair abilities are confronted with, he deals with and takes you along, shows you how, and talks to you about not only what he's doing to fix it, but if it's a guitar, he'll talk to you about the instrument and a little bit of its history. And just a very interesting channel. So check out Bruce space L. Alright, so now it's time for the story/groaner of the week. A very, very wealthy businessman who was quite stuck on himself, thought he was pretty important, had always gone around in a chauffeur-driven limousine, but had always sort of in his back of his mind had his heart set on a certain type of supercar. And finally, after much debate, he decided he was going to get this car. So he went to the place to order it, ordered exactly the way he wanted it, the color, everything, all the options, and whistles and bells, and you name it. And after shelling out $1.6 million for this supercar, he then had nothing to do but wait for it to arrive. So he continued taking his chauffeur-driven limousine to work every day, being dropped off, until finally, at the end of 6 months, he got a call that his car was there. And it was a Thursday late in the afternoon. So on his way home, he had his chauffeur drop him off at the dealership, and he signed the final paperwork, quite proudly got in his supercar, sports car, and drove it home. Well, he spent a good part of that evening just going over this car, meticulously looking for any flaws it might have, and he found none. It was a gorgeous, well-made, handmade car. And he polished it and got it just looking spiffy. Well, the next morning when he gets up and he gets ready for work, and he decides, no, he's not taking his chauffeur-driven limousine today. He's going to drive his brand new car and show it off. So he calls the chauffeur and cancels the service, goes out, does one last look around on his car, gets off a few specks of dust, makes sure it's looking pristine, and he drives it to work. And as he approaches the office building, it's a 30-story tower that he owns, he decides rather than park in the underground garage in the specified parking place that he has just for him, he wants to show his car off. So he decides he's going to park it on the street in front of his building. So he pulls up and parks at the curb, grabs his briefcase in his right hand, flings open his door, and schmuck! There was a pickup truck coming down the road, and this guy didn't even look before he flung his door open, and the pickup truck just catches the door and rips it right off the car and carries on down the road, doesn't even stop. I don't think the truck driver even knew that he'd hit this guy's car door, but it was gone. Well, this businessman just has a fit. He gets out of his car and he flings his briefcase back into the car, and he's yelling and screaming and shaking his fist at the stupid truck driver, and finally pulls out his cell phone and calls 911, and it's an emergency, some schmuck just took my car door off, and it's a brand new car, I haven't even had it for 24 hours. And I'm so mad, and what's wrong with this world, and stupid driver, and he just carries on, right? Well, the dispatcher sends a police officer, and as it happens, there's a patrol car just on the other side of the block. So within a matter of seconds, the policeman's there, and he walks up, and this driver just turns his rage onto the police officer, yelling and screaming about lousy police work, and if police were better, this wouldn't have happened, and look at his $1.6 million supercar, it'll never be the same. Yes, he's got insurance, and yes, they'll fix it, but it'll never be the same. And he's only had it for like 12, 14 hours, and just ranting and raving. And finally, when he pauses for a breath, the police officer looks at him and he says, "You know, I've been a police officer for 24 years, and in that time I've met all kinds of people. Rich people, poor people, down and outers, you name it, I've met them. And I've met a lot of wonderful, wonderful people. I've met rich people that give you the shirt off their back and do anything for you. But he says, but people like you just make me sick. All you care about is your possessions. You're just so self-absorbed and don't care about anything or anybody else but you and what you have." Well, this businessman just looks at him and just, "Well, who the heck do you think you are talking to me like that? I know the mayor. I'm personal friends with him. He's going to have your badge. You can't talk to me like that. You don't even know me. How can you pass judgment on me? You just walked up. My car just got ruined. My $1.6 million car has been totally ruined. The door's been ripped right off, and you have the nerve to tell me that?" And the police officer says, "Well, sir, you're so focused on your stupid car and the fact the door got ripped off, you haven't even noticed that your left arm is missing from the elbow down." Well, the businessman looks down at his left arm, and sure enough, there's the ragged remnants of his suit jacket and shirt sleeve, and blood dripping on the ground. There's a pool of blood on the ground, and it's a mess. And he looks, and he kind of swoons, and he says, "Oh my God, where's my Rolex?" Oh, that was a bad one. Alrighty, well, with that note, hopefully you'll have a happy weekend, and we'll hear some funnier stories in that one. We thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment down below.